that big old smile, and he always had something really, really positive to say. Now, you know, when I heard the tune "Daddy Phone," the first thing I thought of, you know, of course, was coming from a divorced family, and Lord, listening to this thing, and then knowing the story behind it. David Maestrom, the gentleman that owns Grand Vista, his brother Joe.
Oh.
He had, unfortunately, had gone through a divorce, and while doing that, he was in the service, and he married a woman from Germany, and then they had moved back from Germany because he was stationed at Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Oh.
In the process of them having that child and into a small boy, then all of a sudden, then she moved back to Germany, and of course he still wanted to be in Jeremy's life, and nonetheless he'd went to go see Jeremy, and when he did, as he was walking down the steps and out Jeremy turned around to the stepdad and said, "Bye, Daddy," and it absolutely tore Joe to pieces.
Aww.
And Joe had rented a place so that they could spend the weekend together there in town. And while in doing so, you know, for the first several hours, you know, it just really bothered Joe. It really did. It just literally got the best of him. He, you know, just trying to think, Lord, you know, here's a, well, you know, the way we would put it, you know, here's another fella calling, you know, my son called another fella Daddy. You know, and it bothered him.
Yeah, it hurt.
With good due reason. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hurt there.
Absolutely.
And then, so anyway, so that's really where the line came from after Joe had thought about it for a while. Well, look, you know, you say you really like him, and you know, and I'm sure that it's true, son. I'm sure you do. And if that's okay with you, well, that's all. That's okay with me. You know, but nonetheless, that still doesn't take the hurt, and it still doesn't take the, you know, the situation and make it different. It just gives you a way to cope with it. You know, as a dad that desperately loves their child and stuff like that, and to hear that, you know, it just kind of seems to get the best of anybody. I guarantee, I know that it would me.
Oh, yes, me too.
But nonetheless, you know, it turned out really good. And the one thing that I really enjoyed about the very first time that I'd heard it was the way that it turned out. that what it showed was it showed literally the persistence of a daddy that was going to be in that boy's life to the point of, listen, I found us a way that me and you can stay in touch. Whenever you need to get a hold of me, here's your daddy phone. And you call me, I punch my number in there. All you got to do is push 1, and you can get Daddy anytime you want him. You know, this is your daddy phone.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. I'm really kind of the person that in the westerns, I always like the guy wearing the white hat. You know, I always want to believe that in the end things work out either for the reasons that they happened, and they come to the conclusion that they should come to. And it's there for either a growing process, or it's there for a reason for somebody to learn something that maybe that they didn't know that they need to know.
Marty, you know something? You're a romantic.
Well,
you like happy endings, don't you?
Well, yeah, and you know, and I also like peaceful things.